It has been a minute since we have gone live. I'm happy to be back, happy to be doing this. What's going to happen here is in about 30 minutes or so after we go over the topic and maybe answer some questions from you guys, we are going to have Marni the Wing Girl come on. That's right. So she'll be coming on here in about 30 minutes, and we'll answer some questions. Maybe we'll talk about the topic a little bit and go from there. So it's good to have everyone here. There's always a little bit of a lag, so I'm sure people are typing right now, but I don't see it yet. There we go. What's up? You can hear me. Great. Supreme King, what's up? Jonathan, what's up? All right. This is great. So what is the topic today? What are we talking about? We're talking about the issue when a guy says to me, and I get this a lot from coaching clients, they say, Tripp, I can't get a girl to sleep with me. I can't get a girl to sleep with me. What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? So we're going to go over that in just a bit. What's up, Adam? All right. Cool. So yeah, and just so you know, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one and doing coaching is available. There are some states right now that are opening up where we can do more work than online dating. So I suggest you apply. Go to coachedbytripp.com and you can apply there. And you and I can work together on all the different sticking points that you're dealing with right now. Okay, so you're in that situation. You're in that situation where you can't get a girl to sleep with you. Well, there's a lot going on here. Of course, there could be 1,000,001 reasons why it's not happening, but I'm going to give you the most common reason why it's not happening. And here it is. The most common reason is you have not built enough attraction and comfort, and then from there, you have not led. Okay, a lot of guys are very scared of rejection, so they don't lead. They don't lead the woman. I call this dominance. They don't lead her through the whole process, the whole attraction process, because it's your job. It's your job, because she's not going to do it. She's not going to do it because it's inherently attractive when the guy does it. Okay? So yeah. So here's the thing. If you know how to lead and you understand the fundamentals behind it, which we're going to go over right now, if you understand that, then at that point, it's going to be easier to date and sleep with women. But if you don't know how that works, then you're just not going to get to that point. So you want to learn this and you want to understand how this whole process works. Okay? So here's the general theory behind it, okay? So what you want to do is you want to perform through the formula of attraction plus comfort. Okay, attraction plus comfort. So attraction is what I call my TED formula, right? Tension, entertainment, dominance, TED. So there's attraction, and then there's comfort. Attraction and comfort. By the way, if you guys want to call in, you can do so, just not yet, or you can do it and wait. The link is in the description down below if you want to call in and ask a question. So attraction plus comfort. So what does that get you? Well, that gets compliance, meaning that gets her to say yes to your advances. You're not going to get a woman to say yes to your advances and comply with your requests if you're not building attraction and comfort. Okay? Cool. Looks like someone said they finished Magnetic. Awesome. We talk about this concept a lot in that book. So that's what has to happen. If you can get that and you understand how to lead, getting to the point where women are sleeping with you becomes about 10 times easier. Getting women on dates, 10 times easier. All of it becomes easier. A lot of guys just go out there and kind of hope for the best. It's way easier to follow a little bit of a plan. And it's a simple formula. Attraction plus comfort. So again, I'll say it again. Attraction plus comfort equals compliance. When you have the attraction and the comfort, you'll get her to move forward with you. Okay? So let's talk about how that works. So how does one build trust and comfort? Okay, how does one do that? Well, there's a few ways to do it. One, if you just meet a girl, so let's say you do meet her out and about. I know that's not happening a lot right now, but this video is going to be on here for a long time and people will be doing that again. So you want to, or one way of building trust and comfort is moving her around the environment. So what happens is if you meet a girl, let's say at a bar, and you guys kind of switch locations a little bit, what happens is she's experiencing all these different memories with you in a short given time. It actually makes her feel more comfortable because it feels like, in this weird psychological way, that she knows you because you guys have been in different environments together. Okay? So that can also happen. Let's say if you meet a girl out and about and it's like a daytime approach, and then you guys go get a cup of coffee together. It's going to seem like you guys have made a stronger connection. There'll be more trust built just because you guys have now been in two different locations. Okay? So I hear a lot of haters, not so much haters, but I'd say people who disagree, which is totally fine. And so if you guys want to, if anyone reading the comments here wants to just kind of believe in the whole thing about, money and it's either there or it's not, I found that in my experience to be totally untrue. There was one point in my life where I was not able to get results with women in dating, and I was trying, I was attempting, and it wasn't working. And then I finally, through a lot of trial and error, figured out some things and learned some things, and then it started to work. And when I coach guys, the same thing happens. And when guys tell me all the time that they listen to the podcast or watch the videos and take this advice, and it has nothing to do with your looks and money, there you go. So guys, don't believe some of these people in the comments who are saying things that it has to be looks and money and status. Yes, those things absolutely help, but they're not that important. What's more important is what I'm talking about here, trust and comfort. And then another is the concept of, when you're building trust and comfort, establishing commonalities. And I'll give you an example in a little bit, but just kind of showing her that you guys have some things in common here and that you're not complete strangers. So that will also help with building the trust and comfort. And then what's the second part of what I said here is TED. Tension, entertainment, and dominance, which is attraction. So again, just to really kind of go back here so you guys completely understand here. We're just talking about this formula of attraction plus comfort equals compliance. When you build attraction and you have comfort between you and the woman, you can get her to say yes to the advances, which are, let me get your number. Let's go here. Let's go on this date. Let's come back to my place. Let's have sex. All that moves toward it. Okay? All right. So TED, and that's tension, entertainment, and dominance, right? So tension is being is building tension between you and the woman, which is going to be about you being more flirtatious, but also being a challenge. Entertainment is entertaining yourself and self-amusement. And dominance is what we're talking about here, leading her to the point of dating and sex and relationship. Okay. So I'll give you a few examples so you kind of understand what this means. So, for example, moving around the environment, all you have to do with her is say something like, if you're in the bar, let's say you're approaching a girl, you're at a bar, and you say, hey, let's go outside. It's kind of loud in here. This is you moving her around the environment. Hey, let's go to the bar. I'm going to grab a drink. Hey, you know what? It's been really cool meeting you. I was about to grab some coffee. Let's go grab some coffee. So you're moving her around. So that's the example here, is you're going to take the lead and you're going to be the one directing the lead and moving it around. This is about moving around the environment, which builds more trust and comfort. Okay? Okay, cool. Someone said sharing a meal instead of getting your own could help build comfort too, wherever restaurants are open in the U.S. I'm curious to be more specific there, Mark. Sharing a meal instead of getting your own, like when would that be? When would you ever get your own? Okay, now let's give you an example of establishing commonalities. So let's say you're talking to a girl and she says like, oh, I'm originally from wherever, and you happen to be there. Try to enunciate that a little bit. Like try to put a little bit of like oh, you're from Chicago. Wait, I'm from Chicago too. That's crazy. Or maybe, you guys are in the same city, but you're from the same suburb. You can say, oh, you're from there. I am too. Establishing those commonalities. You don't want to do this with everything. A lot of the advice I've given over the years is don't just be agreeable. But once in a while, it's okay to agree if it's actually true. And then that is going to be powerful in itself because you're establishing these commonalities, and that builds a little bit of trust and comfort because it's saying she's hearing from this conversation, oh, you know what? We're kind of alike. We're kind of alike. And so that builds more of that comfort there. Okay. Oh, I see. Sharing one meal. Yeah, that could help build comfort too. The thing is I'm more talking about pre-date. I guess, well, technically that could work if you meet offline or you meet online and then share a meal. Sure. But it doesn't even have to be that far. You can be as simple as, what are you going to order? Oh, you're going to order, you're going to order the chicken parmesan. I love that. You know what? Let me order this and we can split. I love that you're getting that, whatever. Commonalities builds friendships. Connection builds attraction. I don't know what you mean by connection, but commonalities is not, yes, correct. It builds friendships, but it helps build attraction in the overall kind of big picture of it all. So you can't just do that, right? If you're just, and that's what a lot of guys do, by the way. So it's kind of a good point there, Anwar, is that a lot of guys do just focus on building some of those commonalities. Oh, we're the same. It's like that doesn't do enough. You still need the other areas in there, which is TED, which moves me to the next section, attraction, right? So you want to be a little bit of a challenge. You don't want to be too agreeable the whole time. So one way of being a challenge is making sure that you're qualifying her to see if she's qualified to be someone that you're going to date and you're going to be with. So how do you do that? Well, you can kind of quiz her. So for example, I'm really into live music. I love seeing concerts. I don't want to date anyone who's not going to want to go see concerts with me because I'm going to be doing that a lot and I want a partner to go do that with. So I'm going to say to her, so are you into live music? Because that's huge for me. I'm going to literally say that. Are you into live music? Because that's huge for me. So you're qualifying her. And it's funny because it kind of kills two birds with one stone. You're doing it to, one, be a little bit of a challenge so she knows that you're not easy to get, that you are qualifying. She should know that you're qualifying her. And two, it's a great way to find if you're actually going to connect with somebody. Yes. So guys, Marni is coming on in the next 15 minutes. So just prepare. She's going to join us in a little bit. Okay. And if you want to come on and ask questions, you can. The link is in the description. If you don't want to show your face, but just do audio, I think we can do that. Actually, I don't think we can. So if you have a question, you can ask it here in the chat. Or you can just come on live here and ask a question here. Okay, cool. So hope that makes sense. I know a lot of guys struggle with this idea of leading, and a lot of guys I work with in coaching, we go over this idea a lot because we're actually having them implement that. Okay? We're having you implement this whole process of comfort and attraction. It's a simple formula. I hope I don't make it sound more complicated than it is. It's really, that's it. You can get comfort and attraction. You'll get her to comply to your requests. So if you work on that, you'll start to see results. And we can help you work on that in coaching. So if you want any coaching from me and want to work one-on-one, just go to coachedbytripp.com. The link is not yet in the description, but if you're watching this later, it will be. So yes, check the description later if you're watching this not live. And yeah, cool. All right, let's take some people in the stream who want to ask questions. Hey Raj, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How you do?
Can you hear me, buddy?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It's
Thank you.
loud. It's a little loud there, but what's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Raj. Tripp. Thank you. I saw your
Oh,
videos
your name
every
is
day.
Raj. I'm so used to asking that question. What's your age? What's your age and where are you calling from, Raj?
My age is 22. Thank you. I'm from
Cool,
India.
man. Uh, yes. Fantastic. What's your question? What is your question? Okay, and disconnected. All right, let's see here. Yeah, if you want to call in, just like Raj did, and someone else just called in too, you can click the link in the description. You can ask any question you want. Doesn't have to relate to the title. No. What is the best pieces of advice would you give to your past self? That's a good question. I love that question. I love that question. You know, I'm gonna just step out for a second of that, and tell you. You know, you should. And I'll try to answer this next question. So follow me here. One of the best questions you can ask someone who's a mentor to you, or who is at a place where you want to be, or who is an expert in a field, any of those, one of the best questions you could ask them is this: what's the questions I should be asking right now? So that's the question you ask the mentor expert, because then they're going to tell you what you need to be working on. So I'll answer that question in a second, but I want to answer Senen's question. What is the best piece of advice you would give to your past self? I mean, if we're talking, of course, we're talking about dating and relationships. I would just say one of my first relationships that I was in when I was 24. So this is 11 years ago, or 10 years ago, maybe when I was 25. I would have said, "Hey, you should have broken up with her sooner. Like once you know, or there's doubts in your head, that's it. They're done. You got to break up with them." Another piece of advice I would give my past self is, I'm trying to think, I wish I would have started approaching sooner. So I spent too much time watching material, reading, and not enough. Well, I eventually had enough time going out and approaching and putting this stuff into practice. But I wish I would have started that process earlier. So I wish I would have actually implemented the things I was learning earlier. The reason why I didn't was out of fear, because I had approach anxiety. So, but that's just how it goes, right? It's that's the way it was supposed to go. So if you want to enter, someone just asked, how can we ask our question? You can ask a question live. Click on the link in the description. It's a stream yard link, and then you can come on. Someone said super meta. You're right. It is a very meta question. The question of, what question should I be asking right now? Right? So that's a good question to ask people. So if someone said right now, Tripp, what questions should I be asking right now? The question you should be asking now is, how do I get out? How do I get out and implement approaching faster? So you should be asking that question. You should be asking the question, how do I build attraction with women? You should be asking, this is kind of the same one as the first one, but what's the fastest way to get results? Okay. So those are some of the questions you should be asking. Good stuff here. Now I guess I should probably answer those questions. Now we're just getting really meta. So in order to answer, so let's answer those questions. So how do you get out faster? How do you work on this and try to implement this and get fast results? Go out when it's safe. Go out and approach, and get on online dating and start swiping, and go out and start approaching. How do you do that faster? Lower the bar. Some guys have a really high bar. They say, I have to go out and approach women and do everything, right? Like do all of it, like completely go through the whole process of attraction and comfort and everything I just listed, when really you should just start off by asking directions somewhere. Make the bar lower and then keep on setting the bar higher as you get better and better. Someone named Kobe just entered the chat or the live stream. Kobe, we can get you in here. Kobe, can you hear me? Kobe, can you hear me? If you guys want to join and not do your video, that's totally fine. Just come in with audio, and that's fine. I think Kobe maybe yeah, I don't hear him. So we're just gonna remove you from the stream right now. Work girls always say they don't want to date anybody they work with. How do you combat that? They're not wrong. They're not wrong. Don't combat that. Do not date the women that you are working with. Bad idea, my friend. Too many risks involved with dating women at work. Potential sexual harassment. You know, if you date them and then you end up seeing them when you go to work, you know, and then like it didn't work out. Terrible. Someone just said red pill. Yes, I do adhere to some things there. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I like to pick and choose what I feel and seen works the best. What are some disempowering beliefs about women? I don't know if I understand that question, and which ones are going to empower you with them. Maybe give me an example of what you mean by that. Kobe, I'm adding you to the stream again. Can you hear me, buddy? Looks like it's nothing's working for him. Yeah, but you guys can, if you want to call in, just click the link in the description below. So yeah, Marni is going to come on here in the next 7 minutes. We'll get her here on the live stream, and we'll talk about the topic. Why can't I get a girl to sleep with me? So stick around until the end, or at least for the next 10 minutes, and we'll have her on here. All right, we got a Ken coming in. You guys digging my I can't leave and get a haircut? Although I had Megan, my girlfriend Megan, trim the sides recently, but I think we have to do it again. It's just getting a little out of control. Growing in all kinds of funny, weird places. But yeah, you guys can ask questions in the chat too. You don't have to come on live. You get the money, the power, and women. Tony Montana. Scarface. Great movie. Great movie. All right, we got a Ken here.
Hello?
Hey, Ken, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. What is your
Awesome.
question, man?
So my question is, how do you approach girls, like, do these cold approaches when they're shy or reversed? When they're all up in their own mind, I suppose.
So you're saying, first of all, how old are you and where are you calling from?
I am 20 years old. I'm from Denmark.
Okay, cool. So you're saying how to approach them when they're shy?
Yeah, yeah. When girls are shy, yeah.
I mean, how do you? What makes you think they're shy? I mean, I just wouldn't label it like that, Ken. I just wouldn't do it like that.
Okay, let me give you some context, I suppose. For instance, I have a great interest of mine in Spanish and the culture and such. And for instance, here in Scandinavia, we are more like ourselves and more private. And for instance, when I approach Latinos and such, they are very outgoing and easy to talk to. So, and a lot of introverted people are here, and girls.
So here's my best advice. Yeah, no, I think I get the question. It's a good question. Here's my advice for you. What I want you to think about is think about, we call this like calibration or social awareness. So if you're talking to a girl and you find that they are a little bit more shy, just kind of like lower your energy a little bit. Like you want to match their energy a little bit. I think that's my best advice for that. Is like, sometimes, like I remember when I used to go out, I would learn how to have like a lot of energy and really high energy, and that helped most of the time. But once in a while, you'd come across a girl who's a little bit shyer. I would just kind of bring it back a notch, but I wouldn't change much of anything else. I would still approach in the same way. Attraction still works in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
because I was wondering what to do because I feel like that I usually come out very strong. I give a very strong impression and it throws them off, and I wasn't sure if I should like change myself if you not exactly.
Try next time to just take it down a notch when you're talking to them. Try to just like bring back your energy a little bit and match theirs, and see if that works.
Okay. Thank you a lot.
Good?
Yeah. Thanks.
Cool, man. Thanks, Ken. Thanks for calling. All right, we're gonna add Marni to the stream. Marni, you're on. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
You might need to change the setting. I can hear you great.
Ah. Okay, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you. Mm-hmm.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Marni. Say hello to Marni.
Hi.
Hi, Marni. Wing Girl Marni.
Yes, Wing Girl Marni.
I'm
Tired
sure-
Marni.
What'd you say?
Wing Girl Marni, Tired Marni, Mummy Marni, all of it. Yes.
I know I asked you last minute to come on, and I was like, I know that she has 2 kids, right? Or is it 3 now?
Yes, 2 kids.
2 kids. I was
God,
like,
no,
I
3.
wonder.
God, no.
I wonder if she's going to make it, because I know it's 5:30 by you. I mean, right here it's 7:30. And so, but I'm glad you can come on and talk to us and talk about this topic. Someone said we love Marni.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Thanks for having me. I love
Yeah.
that you even asked me.
No, of course. Really excited to have you. Guys, Marni has an amazing YouTube channel, and she puts out great content, and she's been doing it twice as long as I've been doing it. So I really, I like her stuff. I believe in her stuff. And I just fully endorse her. So check her out. Check out her YouTube channel. Is there a special URL for that, or is it like youtube.com/
It's Marni Kinrys. That's how long ago I started my channel.
Oh,
I was not
that's- oh, yeah.
strategically thinking about my business. I use my first and last name on there.
Well, I'll make sure to put the link in the description below so guys can follow you. So,
Okay, cool.
So Marni, thanks for coming on. I want to talk a little bit about a topic here, and then I've never done this before where I put multiple people on, but maybe we can get guys on here to ask questions live.
Yeah,
and
I
we
love
can
it because
answer
I'm gonna
them.
learn. I'm gonna learn how StreamYard works because I'm about to start doing this as well. So
This is
very
awesome. I
exciting
just
for me.
discovered this.
I know. I've heard. It's amazing.
It's great. It's got everything you need. So highly recommend it. Okay, let's go into it. Anyone who's right now kind of chilling and waiting in the stream, just hold on while we go over some stuff, and then we'll put you in. So Marni, we were talking about the question that some guys ask me: why can't I get a girl to sleep with me? And it's a broad question. I'm sure there's a million answers, but maybe you can share some of your knowledge, like why you think, or how you would answer that question if a guy came to you and
Because
said,
you're not
why
turning
can't
her
I?
on.
Why can't I get?
That's
Love
why
it.
she's not jumping your bones and making you sleep with her because she's not turned on by you in that way.
So you think maybe then they're friend zoned?
Either they're friend zone or they see you as relationship potential, or it just depends. The question is, very broad / kind of narrow at the same time. So it depends on who's asking that question. But most often when a girl isn't sleeping with you, it's either because you're not doing the right things to make it happen, or she's not seeing you that way. And the thing is that you can shift both of those scenarios. You can make her see you a different way, and you can make certain things happen to potentially have an outcome where she's sleeping with you.
So that begs the question of the friend zone, and I think we talked about this when I was on your live sometime. But I want to hear your answer. So what does a guy do if he's realizing he's in a situation with a girl, and he's like, all right, like he knows her, it's kind of a friend thing, and he can't get her to do anything. Like, what do you suggest a guy does there?
He has to switch up and stop being so friendly. He has to switch up and tease and be playful and exude some masculine traits that spark attraction. He has to flirt with her. Most likely, if a guy is not having that kind of interaction with a woman where there's tension and there's attraction, it's because somebody's not putting it out there. Most often, it's the guy who's not putting it out there, and therefore the woman is following and then sees him a certain way. So guys can certainly change that around. I'm not saying it's always going to work, but they can change that around for themselves.
Yeah. So you think it is possible?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a scenario where it's changed around, when you've changed up how you act towards a girl?
I'm trying to think if I ever been in a situation. That's a great. I never thought about that. I teach it all the time.
I
but
know.
Have I ever
well,
been
you
in a
just
situation?
naturally have this happen all the time, so you're not in the friend zone. I will tell you that I have had it happen many times where I have a guy who is a friend of mine. I don't see him any differently. I'm almost always 100% sure that he does have a crush on me in some way, and he acts kind of complacent and meek, and we have a fun time with each other, but he's not exuding anything sexual towards me. And then I've had it where we've had space from one another, and he comes back and his behavior is different. I had this one guy named Arlen. We had a summer apart, and before the summer we were really good friends. I would go over, I would watch shows at his house, and every time I was there I knew he wanted to make out with me but never did anything. And this one time when I got back from like camp, I was a counselor at camp, and we were in my like living room space upstairs in my parents' home. I remember this, and he like kind of threw me against the wall, not in an aggressive, rude way, in like a kind of very assertive sexual way. We had been teasing each other a lot during our time hanging out, and then he like pushed me up against the wall and he looked me in the eyes and then he kissed me, and it was like, you know, a whole different person in front of me. And we didn't end up dating or anything, but I definitely enjoyed that evening with him. It was a fun evening, and I did not see him as a friend anymore.
Nice. That's great. See, I don't think I ever had. No, you know what? Actually, I have had those circumstances, but the girl like would maybe kiss me back, but then she would later on say like, "Oh, sorry,
I'm not
Tripp.
feeling it."
That's not, you know." Like I remember, like I had a moment in high school. This is a bold moment for me. It was high school. I had this crush on this girl. I was like a senior. She was like a junior, and I remember like I took her out on a date, and we've been friends for a long time, and then I dropped her off at her house and I left, and I got on the phone with one of my friends, and he's like, "Dude, you didn't make a move?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "You got to go back and make a move." And I was like, "You're right. I have to do this." So I called her back up. This is like before texting was a thing. I called her back up. I said, "Come outside." And she said, "Okay." She comes outside. I mean, my heart was racing. This was not like easy. I was freaked out. And she came outside and I kissed her. And I was so glad that I did it. A few days later, she like came to me in school and she's like, "Listen, I have to let you know, like, I don't think about you that way." And I was totally like heartbroken, but I was also like, at least I made that move. But it also taught me years later, don't make that move later. Like, make the move sooner than later, right? Don't go the back door route.
I love it. Or go the back door route, but that was a bad joke. I love that. That's very bold of you. I love that because you took the chance that you wanted and you went for it instead of just letting it pass by. One thing I do want to say about the friend zone is that so many guys think that they can just profess how they feel or even make a move and go for the kiss without shifting anything mentally first and even emotionally about how the woman feels about you. And so the outcome is going to always, well, most often be negative unless she's not seeing you the same way and has the same type of crush on you. But if she's not seeing you sexually and you suddenly just say, "I've loved you forever, I've had a crush on you forever, I think you're the best," or you just go in for a kiss without altering your behavior beforehand, it's almost always going to fall flat and it won't get you the outcome that you desire. So things have to shift beforehand. The way that she sees you and feels about you has to change, and that comes with teasing and being playful and flirting, things that you and I both teach really well.
So you're saying it can't go from like 0 to 100. Like, wait, what? Now we're kissing? Like
No.
There was
Because
never tension before this, right?
Yeah, she doesn't feel that way for you, and it's not going to change because you've kissed her. I mean, this is my movie mind that thinks that that's possible, where, oh, it would be amazing if I never saw this guy a certain way and then he gave me this amazing kiss and just grabbed me. But most often it's not like that. The kiss isn't that good to suddenly say, like, he's a different person. He brings something different to the table. So it doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, I think I always say this to guys too. Hollywood is the worst dating coach ever. Okay?
I know.
Like, do not watch TV and movies and get lessons from that in terms of how attraction and friend zone and all that stuff work. It's very rare that they're because it's fantasy, right? So there's always like a lot of movies have like the nerd and the hot girl, and you ever see the movie Marni, She's Out of Her League? She's Out of My League.
Yes. Who was in that?
Some people say I look like him. Jay Baruchel.
Wait, she's out of my league.
And
Wait,
Alice,
who's the girl
and,
that's in
and
that?
Alice Eve. Let me look it up. Alice Eve.
I've totally every cheesy movie like that I've seen for sure. But
Yeah.
that's not hitting me at all because I don't think
It was
you
like
look
2000, I don't know, 10 or something like that. Anyways, it's about a nerd, right? A guy who's like who meets like a 10, and one of his buddies is like, "Dude, she's out of your league," right? Because that's like a common saying. So the movie's called "She's Out of Your League," and the movie is so cringy. It's actually, I hate it. It's terrible. And one of the reasons why I hate it so much is because he does, but this is the fantasy. This is the fantasy of Hollywood, is he does everything wrong, but she still ends up liking him. Like
she finds it endearing, right?
Right, and it's cute, and it's this, and it's like, this guy is like, guys should watch the movie to learn everything not to do. He does it perfect. He plays the perfect what not to do in terms of how attraction works. Like, he's weak. He's weak-willed. He's like not. He's not bold at all. Like, it's terrible. Marni, I think you get a kick out of it. You'd be cringing the whole time.
I've totally seen it. I feel like I've heard that name before. I just can't picture it right now. But I'll look it up after.
Yeah. Cool. Well, yeah, I think, we definitely see eye to eye. My answer to the question was the same idea. It's like, if she's not sleeping with you, it's because you're not building attraction, you're not creating that tension, and you're not making it happen. Like, most guys are saying, don't make it happen.
It doesn't mean that you can. It just means that you're not doing it right now. Right? Like, so I'm not saying that 100% if you switch things up that she is still going to be attracted to you. There's other things that come into play. It just gives you more of an opportunity for that to happen.
Right. Exactly. All right. So we have some time left, and I want to see if we can add someone to the stream to ask a question.
Yeah, show me how to do this.
Let's
cool.
see how this works.
Are you doing super chats or what is this?
No, this is just live stream. Isaiah, what's up, man? You've been waiting for a long time to come on here.
Oh, yeah. How's it going? How's it going, Marni?
Hi.
There we go.
Keep your eye on the road.
Yeah, please don't.
Oh, yeah. I'm so obviously. Yeah.
I am not liable for anything that happens here. Be safe.
I know, seriously.
But what's your question, man? First of all, where are you calling from, and how old are you?
I'm 22, and I'm calling from Denver, Colorado.
Cool.
Oh, wonderful.
Awesome. What's your question for Marni?
Yeah, so my question is more along the lines of the main reasons why you see guys don't end up getting second dates. Because there was one time I went on a date with this girl, like, who cooked so well. I'm a very, like, entrepreneurial driven type person. She was that same type of girl. Like, it was such a blast. Like, we were both talking so much about, like, our life stories and everything. And she even texted me at the end of the night, thanks, I had a nice time. Also to give you a bit more context, like, this is a girl that she went to my church and sort of wasn't like super close, but was somewhat friends with the rest of my friend group. And then the following day, because I figured maybe it wouldn't seem like too forward, I invited her to our weekly group hangout, because like in church culture, it's just a regular common thing. And she basically was like, oh, I can't make it. And pretty much from there, it was like all ghosting. Like haven't really talked to her since.
Right. Well, I could have answered this in the first question, to be honest. She's just not that into you in that way. You can have a blast with a woman. You can have a really fun time. I've been on several dates where I'm laughing hysterically, but I feel nothing sexual towards the person that I'm sitting there with. Like, so women can have a great time with you. They can connect with you. You can share so many things in common. But again, if they're not feeling that, like, that's exactly how it feels. I don't even know how to describe that in words, but people call it chemistry. People call it a connection. People call it a vibe that they're looking for. If they're not feeling that, then there's no need for them to go on a second date because it's not what they were looking for in terms of dating somebody. Sadly, the ghosting, even though you had such a strong connection, is because she may think that you think a different way, and therefore she's pulling back to kind of signal to you it's not what I'm looking for, and also out of discomfort because she is saying no to furthering the dating process with you. So I don't know if you want to salvage this at all because it sounds like you found a nice connection with somebody and you potentially would want a female friendship. But if you do, you could say something to her along the lines of, like, I totally get you're not feeling the vibe, but I thought you were freaking cool. We share so many things in common. I'd love for you to come hang out with my friends. And then at least there's like a second opportunity there to do what Tripp and I were talking about at the beginning of the call, where you could shift things around because maybe there were some things that you weren't doing on the date, like flirting or teasing, or again, I don't know how you were acting outside of the connection and fun. That you could start to display, especially if you're around your friend group where you're more comfortable, more confident, and she could potentially see you another way.
Isaiah, I'll
So
say this too.
basically, you're saying the more.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I guess I was just trying to summarize what you were saying. You're pretty much saying the more that you can add that sexual chemistry through like touching and like just having her like feel that like sexual energy, that's really what leads to a second date. It's not just, oh, I had a good time and we talked well.
Yeah, and actually, do you want to hear something really fun that I saw it on a television show recently? You can friend zone girls on your dates, where you can continuously mention the term friend when you're on a date with her, and say things like, I totally forget what the line was that the guy said, but it was perfect. Like, hey, like something buddy, or like, oh, it's so nice to have a friend. Like, I forget what it is, but it's basically saying like, no, I'm putting you in this friendly space, which will make her sort of perk up and potentially want something more. But again, other pieces have to be in place. Like there has to be some sort of tension being built and some flirting, like you mentioned, with touch and with, adding some kind of sexual element to it in order for that to really work. But I think Tripp had something to say as well. I think you had something to add on.
Well, I just wanted to add on to Isaiah. I don't love the idea that as a second date, you asked her to hang out with your friends. Like, I'm not saying that that's what ruined it. It's probably what Marni is saying in terms of what happened on the first date. But just as something for the future, I wouldn't ever introduce a girl that I'm dating to my friends for.
He's 22 though. He's 22.
Still.
Really? Oh, I would go. See, I would have been into that at 20, like 17 to 22, even to 25. I would have loved that. Even my husband, when I met him, I think our second date was something with a group of friends. I also happened to be new to Los Angeles, so like going out with a group of people was really appealing to me at that time.
I just think it's intimidating. See, you're like fun and extroverted and social. Like, I don't know, it feels risky to me. Like I wouldn't want it. Like I would not want to do that until I slept with her. Like until we've slept together, then, and even then, I don't know. It depends. It's just like I want to make sure I'm formulating a connection with her first, and getting that down instead of potentially it being. Like, I wouldn't want to risk it being too overwhelming. Like, hey, you want to meet my friends? Like, come out and hang out. Maybe if it was like, it just kind of happened. We're both out and she's with her friends. Okay, come over, come meet us. We're at this bar. But I don't know. I just wouldn't want to invite her out to a friend thing on a second date. Are we disagreeing here?
Yeah, I think so. I'm okay with it. If it was an older person, I would go more in that. Listen, the truth is that always steering away from the friendship and building up something on your own first is going to be better. But there's certain times.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I want. I want that part
There's
first.
certain times when your friends can sell you, and like maybe the date didn't go 100% well the first time, but there is a connection there. Like you being around your friends, being in that position where you're really cool and comfortable, it can sell you. I think it can sell you more.
So are you saying use it whenever, or do it when you feel like the first date didn't go that well?
To be honest, I'd say use it whenever. If it happens to be that this is a part of your life and you're asking her to come hang out in your world, and I don't think it feels like it's pouncing, to be honest, where you're like, oh, I like you so much, you can come hang out with my friends now. That's not how it sounded to me.
And also to give you like further context, because I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with like church culture, if you grew up in church or anything. Like she was like new to my church, and she was getting to know a few people, and it was kind of like,
oh, then he's the leader. He's like, oh, come to my community, like you're a new part. I would find that sexy. I think that's something that you could lean on a little bit for sure. Even if you were 40 and that were the scenario, I think that you could totally do that too. I totally hear what Tripp is saying. I agree that you want to but you're thinking of it from a position of, I have the control here. I don't want this girl to fall in love with me too fast. I'm going to figure out if I even want to bring her around first. So
That's
I
the
get
thing.
where
It's
you're
like,
coming from.
I just don't want to do it. I just I don't know. I don't know this girl that well yet. Now I'm going to introduce my friends. Ooh, that's like I take, that's sacred. My friend group is sacred. You know what I mean? I don't want to just
also a confident place for you where you're like, yeah, this is how I am with my friends. I don't bring a girl around my friends until I know she's somebody special, and that's awesome. If that's how you would date.
Right. So it sounds like, I guess it depends on the vibe you're kind of working with and all that. Isaiah, does this help? Has this been helpful?
Yeah. This definitely does help. And I guess my last question is, there's a good chance I'm going to regularly see her from time to time at church. Is there any hopes of restoring this, or just move on?
Well, you're going to see her, so you can't really move on. So when you see her, just be awesome. Go back to your date. Your heart's going to pound fast, exactly like Tripp was talking about before, about going back and kissing that girl. But you got to just own it. Plus, you are in the comfort level space in that church group, so you kind of have the upper hand. But you go up, you say hi to her, you say, how's it going? And then you leave after 2 minutes and say, I'll see you around. I'm going to go with my friends. So
Exactly.
You got to own your space.
Yeah. Because if you act, I always say to guys, it's only awkward if you're acting awkward. It's like, that's it. If you come in and you're just confident and it's like it's no big deal, she's gonna feel that way too, and then you're gonna just appear more attractive because it's like, oh wow, he's not phased or feels like he's rejected or hurt. So yeah, for sure, I like that advice.
Yeah, and it's hard to stay calm. But if you can tell yourself 5 times before something that helps you calm yourself down before you go over and talk to her, if you want to use some pump up speech or a pump up phrase, something that really resonates with you to calm you down, I would do that before you go and talk to her, because it is nerve wracking. It's nerve wracking seeing somebody you have a different view on than they have a different view on you. So I'm not saying you're expected to remove all nerves. You're going to be nervous.
Yeah, I mean you have no choice there, but you kind of try to. I mean, it's kind of with approaching too. In the beginning, you're always really nervous to go and talk to that girl, but you just kind of fake it a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just your mind's kind of racing, but hopefully you can calm your body down a little bit and just execute anyways.
Yeah, just means you're alive.
That's all.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Isaiah. Thanks for calling, man.
All right. You guys have a good one.
You too, bud.
You too.
All right. That was
very
good.
Cool thing.
I know this is cool. Want to do another one?
Yeah.
Let's go again. All right. We're going to add Jay. What's up, Jay?
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good, man.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Loud and clear. What's how old are you and where are you calling from?
I am 37. I'm going to turn 38. Hey, Marni.
Hi.
Marni, I'm actually Omar.
That's what I was gonna say you look so familiar.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, wait, what? Okay.
I was pretty sick. I had food poisoning, so I've been
gosh.
resting, and yeah.
What's going on?
And,
What am I
Change your
missing
name.
here?
I know.
Okay.
This is my boyfriend.
We got a lot of catching up to do. How you been?
Yeah.
How you guys doing? All right.
Good, very good.
Wait,
Yeah,
how do you
what's
guys know
going-
each other?
He was actually on our podcast as what do we call it? Help a brother out, like 4 years.
I gotta
ago
come
when
back
we were
on
at
that, by the way.
Playboy.
I got.
Yeah, for sure.
We have
Well,
a lot
obviously
of.
we didn't help a brother out if you're still calling into these shows, but
Nice. All right.
Okay,
so
so-
what's up,
Omar
man?
Omar is a
What's your
doctor.
question?
Omar is a doctor.
Yeah. So
but
this podcast, this podcast speaks
Real quick,
to me.
careful with the mic because you can hear it like going. Tss, tss, tss. So just like try not to touch it with your fingers.
Wait, hold on. There's an echo. I got it.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
it's better.
so one of the issues I'm having is exactly with this. Like, I've been getting dates. Marnie remembers this. And, I would have the conversation seems to go well. They're asking questions. They'll hit me up. They'll be like, oh, are we going to hang out? But the problem is when I go for the kiss or I try to touch and escalate, they get very, they clam up,
Okay. Well, when you're going out, is it
Or if I try to escalate things, it'll kind of they'll kind of clam up. If I try to make a move or they'll the whole touchy feely thing, they're kind of like
I wonder if you're not really feeling it out right. Like you're not really reading her signals.
maybe like on the phone, I'll be able to make the jokes and the innuendos and they'll laugh. But when I try to escalate and even take it in that direction, I think they kind of like try to dodge it, or they try to change the subject. So I don't know
Well,
what
that's
you
never
guys
good.
think.
So there's some sort of misunderstanding from somebody about what's going on between you. So
I'm
is
thinking maybe I need
this-
to build more sexual tension there.
Probably, or you just need to acknowledge the elephant in the room when she does freeze up, and you can say, "Oh God, like I just saw you froze up a little bit. Am I reading this situation wrong? Really, I think you're so cool. I'd love to kiss you." Or something, just like something to sort of clear the air. So I'm not fully understanding this. So
Yeah, when is this happening? Like, is this on a
Yeah.
date? Is this like
Yeah, mostly on the dates. Like,
so multiple dates or on the first date. So like you talk and chit chat and have fun, and then you go on a date,
Oh.
and then she pulls back.
I've had some dates where I had the kiss and then I never see them again. And then so tell your guys the kiss is not the end all be all. You can make out and still not see them again.
Well,
Oh
yeah,
my God,
you
I
can have
used to
sex
make
and
out with
not see
people
them
just to
again.
get out.
But I'm just thinking I'm just trying to find a way to be more consistent to be able to get them to feel when I try to escalate and do a lot of things you guys say, especially Tripp, with the escalation, to be able to want to take the next step and escalate that attraction. So what do you guys recommend as a general advice moving through the steps?
I say baby steps until.
Marnie, talk a little bit closer to the mic.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
I think I feel like mic just went out for some reason. But I would say baby steps, and it's really following each other's leads. Like it can happen very fast if you guys are on the same page, but it has to start with baby steps. So I'm not sure about how your interactions are going. It could just be playful, and then like go in for the kiss, and that can seem very jarring for her. Not because maybe because she's not into it, but just because it may have come out of left field. I don't know what's actually happening on these dates.
So I'll give you an
But-
example. I have one girl I'm talking to, cougar. Marnie knows I'm a cougar magnet.
Yeah.
And even that I'm working on. So we talked for like an hour last night. I'll send you the convo later. It looked like it's going pretty well. I'm not gonna jinx it or do anything. And I just asked her because we were laughing, everything was great, and we're planning to meet for drinks at a rooftop after the quarantine. So
okay, I was gonna say you're in New York. So how?
yeah. So
Anyway, go
I said to her, so what turns you on in a guy? We've been talking for a while. Don't be shy. It's a non-judgmental place. And she's like, it's a first conversation. I guess she would rather like save it for the next conversation. So I don't think
Okay.
that's a bad thing.
So,
What do you guys
you're saying
think?
you brought that up and then she kind of took it back a little bit.
Yeah. So I said, I kind of said, so I'll tell you what I like. And then I tease her. So, you know what? I'll save it for the next time too. And she's like, yeah, we got to save some stuff for the next conversation and kind of thing.
Yeah, she
So,
probably just moves a lot. She just told you right there. It sounds like that she moves slow.
so I've been
she's not
getting a
on that
lot.
level yet with you. Like it needs like something else before that step. Like you went sexual fast.
That Marnie knows that that's something I'm guilty of. Like maybe I should dial it back a bit when I'm talking to these women. What do you guys think?
Yes.
Probably.
It's
I mean,
not
if it's
working for you.
exactly.
So,
If it's not working for you. Maybe what's happening is because you're jumping so fast to those maybe highly sexual topics of conversation, maybe that's turning them off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So like you're doing something there that's turning them off, and then that's why they're like, okay, I don't want to kiss him, or I guess I'll just kiss him, but then like I'm done, So it's funny. Someone said in here in the chat actually, which I agree with, someone said social awareness. So yeah, being more aware of how she's feeling, especially when you're bringing that up. But I probably would not do that anymore and test that out and see if that maybe brings a better connection and vibe between you and the girl.
yeah, I agree.
So in other words, kind of like how I'm talking with you guys right now, maybe just kind of have that kind of vibe, and then I guess see how she reacts, and then dial it up from there.
Well, like Marnie, you teach a lot about flirting and teasing. Like I feel like Jay needs some like more middle ground. Like what's a good middle ground tease flirt? Like he could say.
Well, actually, that's the funny thing. I was going to have a comment like that. So my middle ground would be something like, "Oh my God, stop flirting with me," or "Stop throwing yourself at me."
That's good.
Like
She does it so
something-
well.
Yeah, but something like that, so that it's like very low level, and then she could say, "Oh, I'm not flirting with you," or she could say, "Why, you don't like it?" Or, "Oh, I'm not flirting with you. You stop flirting with me," and that's flirting. So then you're like, "Oh, she's on board." So actually, my program called the F Formula is all
Which I
about
brought, by the
this.
way. I'm on it.
Good. I hope that
I
you're
have
right,
to go
because
on the farm. I've been so
as long as you're not
sick and
saying I
busy.
read it and I'm using it, because that.
I'm
but-
slow, Marnie. I'm slow.
Right.
So
No, I know you're a doctor. You got things to do right now, so
I gotta
totally
come on the
get it.
farm. I didn't forget. I gotta read all that stuff. But yeah.
Exactly. But in that program, it's all about the 3 phases of flirting. There's like a PG low level phase. There's the escalation phase. There's the
And he's
there's the
going right to
chemistry.
triple X.
Yeah, and you're going too far where it's yucky. That's what happens. It's yucky. And once
Marnie, you
you're-
want to hear a story?
I don't know how
One-
much time Tripp has.
You have
You
30
mind, Tripp?
seconds. Go.
I'll
30
tell you.
seconds.
So no story. We'll do a story another
All
time.
right, it's
But
fine.
I think for you got to go a little bit slower and just exactly like what the commenter said. It's like social calibration or social. What did they say?
Awareness.
Awareness. Sorry.
Awareness.
Yeah, see, 6 o'clock. Yeah, social awareness. Just like knowing not to go too fast with people if that vibe is not there, and that's a hard thing to understand. And I'm sure Tripp
It
can
takes
more about
practice.
that.
It takes
I know you
practice.
don't get that vibe with everyone, but what do you guys recommend to increase the chances of getting that kind of vibe and that kind of thing?
Well,
Like-
I feel like it's within that. Like that is what
Yeah.
you're doing. The baby steps within themselves is what creates that vibe. And hopefully the vibe is somewhat already there if you're on the context of a date. Like this is a little bit more difficult on an approach. But if you're already on a date,
Yeah.
there's already interest there.
Like from a dating app, like let's say
Exactly.
Tinder or Hinge.
Right,
you know?
or whatever. Any from meeting anywhere, whether it's a dating app or off an approach, the context of a date is inherently sexual, but that doesn't necessarily mean you go super sexual. But you kind of you're at a baseline of she's interested, so you
She's gotten
can start
dressed
some of
and
that.
gone out with you, so there's
Right.
something there, and then you
Right.
can. It's hard to explain how to slowly escalate it without you also having some awareness of where you guys are. So
Yeah.
just know that you are going from A to L, and we want you to go from A to B to C to D to go a little slower. Just dial it back.
So dial
There
it
you go.
back, and sexual tension, maybe give more eye contact, which I've been doing, and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
And those are low level ways. Those are PG ways.
Yes,
Silences,
exactly.
smirks, eye contact. Yeah, all very.
And the touch thing, like sometimes I'll touch them and they'll back away. Sometimes they'll lean in and they'll reciprocate, or they'll just kind of let me do it. But
Okay.
what is you guys' rules for that? Like,
Oh,
do you have
I think for you, just to test it out, Maybe just don't do that. I just feel like it's
Yeah.
maybe not work. If you're batting 50%,
Yeah.
I don't like those odds, and that means that the other girls who are okay with it are still not coming.
It's like
to you they're not kissing you back or whatever. Maybe just like chill. I would chill on the touching for a second and just like phase that out for now, just to test it out. You know, that's Marnie. Do you teach that in your program, the touching?
I do for sure. To me, my sense is that you're a bit
Mike,
gropey.
Mike.
Oh gosh, I
There you
said,
go.
so to me,
It
I
just gets
sense,
really low when it's away.
I know. Sorry, I sense that you're a bit gropey, and
Maybe I move too fast. That's what it is.
yeah, or touch too much. So everything, dial it back. It's all got to be baby steps and like
Yeah.
feeling out the situation.
Awesome, man. Okay,
Yeah.
we got
Thanks
to
a lot,
jump.
you guys.
Thanks
Tripp,
for coming
thanks
on.
so much, Marn.
You're
I'm coming to
welcome.
you. I
Bye.
didn't
Nice
forget you.
seeing you.
Thanks,
See you,
man.
Marnie.
Take
Thanks
care.
again.
Bye.
You're good.
All right, a huge Marnie fan. I love it.
I guess so. God, he was on our podcast when we were at Playboy so long ago.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah,
When you
but
were
now
on
I feel like a
Sirius,
failure
right?
because I'm like, does it not work what I've told you to do?
Well, he's apparently moving very slow with it, so
Right.
it's not
right,
you.
Right. Yes. It's not.
Marnie, so I told guys earlier they can find you on YouTube and yeah, you should check out your program too. You want to just talk about your program again real quick?
Yeah, the F formula. It's all about flirting. It's flirting from the female point of view, but not in like I don't want you to flirt with me and like teaching guys about all the things that women don't like. It's actually telling you how to flirt with women and go through the 3 phases of escalation so that women respond to you. It's exactly what Omar was talking about, which many men tend to do, is go sexual too fast. And this teaches you how to dial it back a little bit so you can gauge whether or not women are going to, or you can be better at flirting with women and get better responses.
Love it. Awesome.
Yeah. But then also, I want people to listen to you on our podcast. So you've been on our podcast several times, Ask Women, and you have done some fantastic episodes with us. So
Awesome. Yeah. So check that out. Ask Women podcast. And
Thanks, guys.
Marnie, thanks for being here. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
of course. Thanks for having me. All right. I'll see you
Okay.
later.
We'll let you go. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. That was great. Okay, we're wrapping up. Thanks, guys, for watching. If you're interested in doing coaching, don't forget you can go to coachedbytripp.com. There's a link in the description for that. And you and I can work personally one-on-one with these issues in terms of getting second dates and getting to the point where women are interested in having sex with you, going on dates with you, and seeing you again. So check that out. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanks, everyone, for being here and being so kind to our guest. All right. Happy Wednesday. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.